Hello and welcome to the video that lays the foundation for home inspections. I'm Stuart Shefter, realtor here in the Triangle of North Carolina, and in this video we're covering the basics of what to expect and what not to expect out of your home inspection. Before we get started, special thanks to Fred Herndon of Fred Herndon Home Inspections. He helped bring life to this video with a few sample reports, some insight into his process, and a few stories along the way. Check out his contact information down below in the description. All right, let's kick things off with the nuts and bolts of what a home inspection report is. Home inspections are optional, but I always recommend getting one. You should have an idea of a home's overall health, even if you're not planning on asking for any repairs or credit. And it is highly recommended get it done during the due diligence period. In fact, it's so highly recommended, there's a call out in our standard offer contract. Home inspectors are busy people, especially the good ones. So they're my first call after I call my buyers to give them the good news that we're under contract. In fact, I usually text home inspectors ahead of time when we put in an offer. They can usually pencil us into their schedule, and that way we're already ahead of the game. At the time of this recording, the cost usually starts somewhere around $500 and goes up from there depending on variables like square footage, age of the home, and foundation type. Home inspections usually take about 4 hours, and it's best to let the inspector do their thing and show up at the end for a summary of their findings, and you can discuss any questions you have with the inspector. A good inspector will be available for questions long after they've given you the report. And the inspectors I recommend will continue to answer questions about their report for the entire time you own the home. On to the inspection report. I like to use an analogy when it comes to your home inspector. Your doctor. You go to a general practitioner for an overview, right? Your annual checkup. And if something requires further tests, they refer you to a specialist. Well, the same is true for your home inspector. They're a generalist, not a specialist. Their job is to identify anything that, quote, adversely affects the durability, safety, or energy efficiency of the home. Here's a look at a sample table of contents showing the various systems that were inspected. Each section will have a list of items involved in that particular system. Most inspection reports divide these items in 3 categories. The first is item inspected. And this means it's been inspected and is functioning as intended. The second is recommendation. And that means that something's amiss but isn't critical. And the last one is safety hazard. And these should be addressed immediately. If the item is in one of those last 2 categories, the home inspector will write additional comments to help further inform their client. Those additional comments follow the same basic formula known as DDID. That stands for description, which is identifying what system or component is involved and exactly where it is. Determination, identifying the issue or defect. Implication identifies the severity or level of concern of the defect, and further explains how that defect impacts the overall function. And direction conveys next steps to the client, whether it's observation, further investigation by a specialist, repair, or replacement. Now that we know what to expect in a home inspection report, here's what your report is not. It is not a comprehensive analysis of the home and all of its various systems. Remember, your home inspector is a generalist, not a specialist. This is not a code inspection. If it ever refers to a building code, it must do so from the year that the home was built, not the current year. Last on the not list, your report will not specify how something is supposed to be done. Your home inspector will leave that to the specialist. Thought this video was useful, please hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. And if you have any thoughts you'd like to share on inspection reports, consider dropping them down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.